Hi, this is Barnaby Brokaw, and we're here at the 2006 magnificent Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. I just want to invite you along to look at the many magnificent cars that are on display today. This is the 56th annual Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. They used to hold vintage races here out on Pebble Beach on 17 Mile Drive, and then they started the Concours. And now the Concours has evolved into a weekend. This is the mecca for anybody that's into cars.
This is the premier car show in the United States, and if not the world, here on the 18th green of the Pebble Beach golf course, overlooking the lodge and overlooking Monterey Bay, and it is just one of the most beautiful scenes you can imagine in the world.
We're fortunate enough at Pebble Beach to have the absolute cream of classic automobiles. It has established itself, I think, as without reservation the finest classic car show in the world, probably. But amongst the Duesenberg collectors, we are indebted to the major collectors as well as the individual owners. A major contributor to the wealth of this show and the reserves from which they draw, the Nethercutt collection in Sylmar, California, the Peterson Museum collection down in downtown Los Angeles. Every year you'll find, and then this is generic to the whole show, pre-selected, you are invited to show your car, and you don't repeat for 10 years. So that you don't come in every year, you're not going to see the same cars. Unless your winning a car out of a general class fits the mark of honor for another year. For instance, is one of the De La Hayas, who was a previous winner within the last 10 years in its open class. But because we're specializing in recognizing De La Haya and Voisin from France, they invited that car back because that fills the field. Anything that you could add to that?
Well, no, I would say you've done your homework a little more extensively than I have. But the thing to know about the show in general is, for the entrance, there's no hand-holding. Nobody is sponsored to come here. Everybody comes of their own accord and their own expense, and they're sometimes driven all the way from across the country. And that's another thing to keep in mind, is these cars are meant to be driven, and if it doesn't start when the award is announced, the award goes to somebody else.
Well, that's true. The car must drive and must perform. Interestingly, on Thursday, 3 days before the show, they have what they call the Tour d'Elegance, which is integrated with this by the same management. And the tour is, people who are entered in the field are encouraged to take what was a 60-mile drive all the way around the peninsula and down to Big Sur and back up. All other factors being equal, that was a contest in its own right, and they got rewards for participating and so forth. But over and above that, if two identical cars have an identical score, one took the tour, one did not, the one who took the tour gets the nod.
Our featured cars are De La Haye and Voisin, all French cars, which were just glorious French designs of the late 30s and post-war era. They've turned out here. Some of them are in original shape, not what you might call pretty to see, but they are original, and it's incredible that they've survived. So we have everything here, and behind us is the Class C3, which are Packards and Lincolns and big, beautiful one-off touring cars.
I originally came to Pebble Beach Concours and races back in the 50s. In 1951, I begged my parents to come down, bring me down. I was about 12 years old at the time, and had been reading Road and Track avidly as a youngster, and knew about the races, and they were not so far from our home. And I was lucky enough to view 4 of the 6 races held in the forest. This class consists of cars that actually raced in Pebble Beach in the forest. The races ran from 1950 to 1956 and ended ultimately when the cars really became too fast for the course, and there was a because one of the McAfees died, crashed into a tree, which was very unfortunate. Subsequently, the races moved to Laguna Seca, where they still are. Well, each car has its own story. They are all competitive, some more than others. Probably the most noteworthy of the cars is the Cad Allard, owned by, at that time, by Tom Karstens, driven by Bill Pollock, to first place both in 1951 1952, including white walls on the tires with two spares hung on the side of the car. That was something notable.
Just the most wonderful day. I just can't wait. I work on the tour, and then showing up Sunday morning for the show, and it's just a beautiful time to see these cars, which are pieces of rolling art. And in this class that I'm a host for, we have some they call European classics from 25 to 35. And they're big cars. And there's a very interesting car here this year. It's from the Czech Republic called a Tatra, and the owner is here with it. And he drove this car to Holland to a shipping point, and then he picked it up in San Francisco and drove it here. And it's just a beautiful machine.